Good morning. It is 6 a.m. and I have just been having fun down here, drinking coffee, weighing my trucks. And I thought I'd share some of these discoveries with you guys. So, let's start with what trucks I have here. I have independent Stage 11 159s, Stage 11 149s, and Stage 10 139s. I have a pair of Royal Mike Moe inverted kingpin trucks. I have a pair of Venture Highs. Those are the 5.2s, which is the same as a 139, so it's for an 8-inch board. I have independent 139s, stage 9. I have Venture Lows. These are about 13-year-old Venture Lows, the ones we used to ride all the time, 5.0. I have my Thunder Team Hollow Light 148s. I have my Thunder, what are these? 147. Just the standard ones. And I have a pair of Venture Hollows. These are 8-inch wide, and they're the lightest. So it goes from heaviest all the way to lightest. And I was kind of surprised at some of my findings. So, not surprisingly, the 159 Indies were the heaviest. And not totally surprisingly, the low Venture Hollows that are 8 inches wide were the lightest. So, let's see what they were in comparison. So, the 159s weighed in at 404 grams, roughly. That's what I've got here. And these old Ventures that are fairly ground down weighed in at 323 grams, roughly. So that's a pretty big, that's an 80-gram difference, give or take. Okay, so let's start weighing them going down the scale. So we've got 404, and then we've got the 149s. They are 398, which is very little difference. That's 6 grams difference. And then we've got the Stage 10 139s, which were 365. These are brand new. Now, I've also looked online of what the Stage 11 139s are, and they are 376. So the new ones are actually 10 grams heavier. And then, next down the list was these Royals. These are the next heaviest, which are basically the same as the Indy 139 Stage 10s. 360, it's basically 363. And then next were the Venture Highs, 8 inches as well. And these are basically exactly the same as the Royals, 363. Next down the list, I've got the independent Stage 9s. Now, these surprised me how light these were. Now, they're ground down a little bit, so you could probably add about 5 grams at the most. But these are 340, actually 339. And that surprised me how light these were. And then even more surprising was the Venture Low 5.0. 336. And that's ground down a little bit. So if these were closer to what these ones were, they would probably be about the same. So what really surprised me is that the Independents and the Ventures were the same weight. And these are both from roughly the same category, because these are, or the same year. These are Stage 9s. So these are about 13 years old, and these are about 13 years old. Now, what else is surprising is these ones, this is for an 8-inch board, and this is for a 7.75 to 7.5-inch board. And these are much lower. So Independent was really competitive with weight about 10, 15 years ago. And then they decided to just stick to making really beefy trucks. So nowadays, unless you're getting the hollow Indies, which are competitive for weight, all of the standard Indies are actually quite heavy trucks. So that was surprising. And then another big surprise was how insanely light the Thunder Team Hollow Lights are. So these came in at 330, basically. And this is ground down a little bit. Well, these ones are 332, and the other ones I have were measuring in at 330. So they'll vary by truck. And what I was finding is even the brand new ones were varying by a few grams per truck. So it doesn't necessarily have to be because they're ground down. Even a brand new truck will weigh differently than another one. So insanely light. I was shocked that these, which are 3/4 of an inch longer than this truck, so 3/4 of an inch longer, half an axle width higher, these are lighter than these old Ventures, these are the Venture Featherlights, the pretty original design from back in the day. So shocking how light these are. Then again, these have the hollow kingpin and axle, but that's not all of it. They must be using something different about the metal that makes them so light. Great truck, by the way. And then, not surprisingly, a very light truck is just your standard Thunder 147. Now these are the highs, which are not high. They are barely taller than a Venture Low. You know, a couple mils different. These are about 2 mils taller than a Venture Low. So the Thunder highs standard are not high. I would consider them a low truck. Great truck also, by the way, but really light. These are 330 grams. So that was another thing that surprised me, is these, which are 1/4 of an inch longer and also taller, weighed in the same as the 147. So the 148 Team Hollow Light weighed the same as the Thunder 147 standard. However, this one's more ground down. So these might actually be a tiny bit heavier than these. It's amazing. So the 147 lights must be insanely light. And then these, my lightest trucks, coming in at around 320 to 325. The other one is weighing at 324. So surprising how light these are. Now, a disclaimer, this is not a comprehensive truck weighing list. This is just my collection of trucks. In the description below, there is a link to Skateboarding is My Lifetime Sport. So there's some dude out there that nerds out way harder than I do. And in this link, there is a truck guide that has a huge list of everything you want to know about trucks. There's a few things that weren't on there, a few trucks that I was hoping to see that weren't on there. However, it's incredibly comprehensive, and you can go there for all sorts of stuff. One of the things that surprised me was how light Tensors are. Tensor doesn't even make a truck over 300 grams. 300 grams is their heaviest truck, so that surprised me. And then Thieve as well. He's got a ton of Thieve on there, which I need to try those, but the name drives me crazy. I don't know why they named it something so silly. But anyways, Thieve also makes a lot of really light trucks, and they have a huge variety of trucks, like a mind-boggling amount. The list was really long. Anyways, this is my little truck weighing video. I was pretty surprised at some of the findings, especially the discrepancy between these old Venture Featherlights and the new Team Hollow Light Thunders. Really surprised me. So anyways, I hope there was something interesting in that, and thanks for watching. Check out that link.